everybody, and welcome to Bottom Line with Ronnie and Byron. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Byron.
And today we have a lot to talk about. So we're going to start with our Governor, Ron DeSantis, issuing the legislative proposal to end the Florida statewide assessment, better known as FSA.
And in national news, we're going to talk about Megyn Kelly and how she rips the quote-unquote black national anthem.
And then we'll move on to sports, where we talk about your local high school sports and some college sports.
And also in entertainment, we'll get into Nicki Minaj's tweet about the COVID vaccine.
And then we'll move right on to our segment, Relationship Tea, where we're talking about friendships. Do we let one person determine our friendship because they're not friends with them or not? We'll be right back to deal with that. Now for our local and state news. Our local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. They are located in Marianna. They cover property insurance, vehicle, business, life insurance, and you can reach them at 850-633-3460. That's Brightway Insurance. So Byron, we have our Governor, Ron DeSantis, who has basically came out and said he's proposing where we're going to get rid of the Florida statewide assessment, better known as FSA. And he's put into place a proposal where we're going to do something called F.A.S.T, and it stands for Florida Assessment of Student Thinking, F.A.S.T, Florida Assessment of Student Thinking. So I think we all been kind of waiting on this. I know as a parent, I have. I've never been a fan of the FSA. I think it stresses students out. I think it has too much weight on it. And so it's good to see that he's putting together this proposal so we can do away with it. Now, I'll talk about a couple of the differences. As we know, the FSA takes days. Well, with the F.A.S.T, it's going to take hours. We know it takes up a lot of time. So that's one of the main things that people were against it, because it takes days out of the schedule for the kids. So that's not going to be the case with the F.A.S.T. The F.A.S.T will be administered three times a year: the fall, the spring, and the winter. And with that said, it's not going to be a lot riding on it. It's just basically to monitor how the student is progressing throughout the year. Mm-hmm. It's going to take 75% less time with this method as far as getting through the process compared to the FSA. What do you think?
Now I'll be honest. I'm like you. I like that concept, and kudos to Governor DeSantis for trying to implement this. Another great thing that it does is it actually opens up time frame for history because of these assessments. And let's be honest, assessments are needed to an extent, but these assessments are really never have been about the students per se. They've been about evaluating on the teachers and the educators. But there are other avenues that you can take to evaluate the effectiveness of teachers and schools and how well they perform. But when we're actually talking about students and how well they're learning and how well they're achieving, school in all of a nutshell is really preparing a child, even from kindergarten, whether it's fifth grade, whether it's high school. It's preparing them for that structured environment to be able to succeed in college and on further into life, whether they go to trade school or whether they go in any type of business or organizational type of matter. The aspect of school has been to for them to understand the social aspect of being in an environment among other people. So
right.
From a school standpoint, from a learning standpoint, it makes better sense to leave that assessment process in the hands of the teachers and in the hands of the educators. But if we're going to assess the schools and we're going to assess educators, we need to make a big distinction between the two, because our kids are losing. Kids don't even like history has gotten left behind because the FSA focused primarily on mathematics and language arts. And so
Right.
when it comes to what I look at, the building of maintaining the next generations outlook, how hard they work, and American pride, and pride in being America, and symbolisms, etc., you lose that because kids don't even know what Fourth of July even means anymore half the
Right.
time, because fireworks aren't done on the Fourth of July. I've had this conversation with superintendents. I've had this conversation with school board members, and it's the same thing. We're losing it, and so when it comes to my initiative, the American History 2.0 curriculum, it helps give us that space, that time, so teachers can have a chance to re-implement that. Every generation after that, you see people not even understanding basic civics. We
Right.
get caught up in politics and don't even know the three branches of government. And I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about
Grown
grown
people.
individuals. You know,
Exactly.
and all it takes is 10 years. I mean, 10 years go by just that fast, which means big shout out to my son, my oldest. The day is his birthday. He's now 12
Oh,
years old.
oh,
And
happy birthday.
yeah, yeah, and it was just like yesterday. He was 2. So
Yeah.
time flies by, and if we want to ensure that not only our children are getting the best education, but they're being well rounded. Yes,
So,
mathematics, language arts, and I don't like standardized tests because it's not a true assessment of a child's performance and
and it
what they
stresses
know.
them out. Yeah, it
Yeah,
stresses
that's
them out.
that's
And
that's
this,
really all it is.
yeah,
Because think about
it's a
it,
stress.
when a kid is just taking a test in a class,
Right.
then okay, they're worried about their performance. But then
Right.
when they're taking a school assessment, now they're worried about the teacher on them, because I mean, if they don't perform, then
Right.
their job is at jeopardy.
But
The
you know what?
principal is on them. The superintendent is giving them stress, and now they're
Right.
stressed out trying to achieve something that's not doing something to the benefit of them.
The other part of this is that, a lot of our standardized tests, they have such a high impact on the students, whether or not they pass or fail, like the third
Exactly.
grade test.
Exactly.
If you don't pass in the third grade assessment, you don't get promoted.
Mm.
And so the kid has to go to summer school, then they give them another test at the end of summer school to determine if they really can pass the third grade. So that's stressful. And I know as a parent, it's stressful.
Yeah.
So the good thing is about the FAST, it minimizes the stress of testing. It goes to, as opposed to just one time a year for days, which tires out the student. It goes to 3 times a year, like we said, the fall, the winter, and the spring. And that way, the students and teachers and parents can monitor the growth together, not
Hmm.
all at one time. My kid don't know this. Well, why not? We've been here a whole year. So 3 times a year, the parent has the opportunity to assess, okay, what did she learn? What did she miss? And we can address it then. The other thing is it reduces the testing time 75% through progress monitoring. So you're not devoting all this time to these tests. You can do other things and incorporate other subjects. So kudos to Governor DeSantis, and I hope it gets further than his lips, that it actually gets, in implemented and the school system can use it. And it'll
Well,
be
yeah,
the first, we'll be the first state to do this, Byron.
well, not this would be a bill, correct, in order to get in
Right.
that. So
Well,
it
he'll
have to be.
have to. Yeah, it'll have
Yeah.
to be a bill.
So and my only little point was, if you notice, colleges don't go through the same type of assessment.
Right. They don't. Right.
So why don't we parody or mirror what colleges do? Because they still have to perform. They still have to
Right.
compete with other schools. In
Right.
order for funding and etc. We should kind of mirror and parody what they do. Instead of putting so much, emphasis on and so much stress on children, because grown people don't have to go through that type of assessment when they're trying to get a college degree. Yeah.
Right. Well, again, I'll wrap this up. The bottom line is good thing. Parents and teachers and students are happy about this across the board. The state of Florida will be the first to implement something like this, and it will eliminate Common Core altogether. So
Mm.
there you go. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about recycling. Jackson County has got away from recycling plastic. Um, and it's because of two reasons. There's no market for plastic. And then number two, they don't have the manpower. I'm going to address the first one. As far as there's no market for it, the plastic is just, it has no value at this point. Uh, if you're not getting the what they call levels 1 and 2, like if you look on the bottom of your bottle, it'll have like a grade number. one, two, three, four, five on up. But if it's not one or two, it really is not good quality. So across the board, they're not even interested in getting plastic anymore because it's costing them more to take it in, more than what they're actually making. And the second thing is, see, before COVID, they had inmates that would come in and help them with this process of weeding out, the good and the bad.
Yeah, that
Well, they
helps,
don't
of
have
course.
that anymore. They don't have any inmates anymore to help. They're down to two employees at the recycling center in Jackson County, and
Mm.
so they cannot handle it. So they're not doing plastic anymore. So we have to make a decision on what we're going to do about plastic. And I'll come back and tell you what I think, but I'm going to toss it to you right now,
Yeah,
Byron.
so I think a lot of people aren't aware that recycling it costs. It's a
Yes.
very high cost
Mm-hmm.
just to recycle.
Right.
You know me, Ronnie. I'm a big marketing guy. You know, I love creating stuff, and I have a good niche for promoting things. And to be honest, I haven't seen much marketing, advertising, putting out in the community, which promotes recycling. But at the same time, the community, the people have to understand how important it is. But it
Right.
is a lot. It's very costly, and like you said before, a lot of times we've been benefiting from the local inmates, the local inmate population, to
Right.
work and to do these things that cut those costs. But now without that, sad to say, some things you have to cut, especially when you don't have much participation. But yes, that's one of the things I found out about recycling. That man, it costs, and especially costs the municipality a lot of money if it's not being implemented, it's not being used to its fullest potential. But even still, I mean,
So
it still costs a lot, and it puts a lot on the community. And if there's not much info, not a big promotional marketing strategy put out to get the people engaged in recycling, more advertisement on saving the community, things of that such, then it'll tend to have a follow a zeitgeist where things will kind of just fall off and people won't really see it that much as an importance. And
right.
I've been there plenty of times, and it's just it's almost like a ghost town. You expect to see some tumbleweed roll through when you go to
Well,
the recycling plant. So
well,
yeah,
the
it's
the
sad, but
biggest thing is the biggest thing is, Byron, is actually funding too,
yeah,
because
yeah,
like I said, we there's no market for it. We don't have the inmates to help, and
yep.
then thirdly, see, this county used to get a grant. They used to receive a grant for this.
Mm.
They used to get like almost $270,000 per year to help with recycling. Well, now they're only getting $90,000. Well, that's a big that's a big loss.
Yeah.
So they can't afford to do anything that's not making them money. So right now, what's making them money is cardboard. So if you have any cardboard, you can take it down to the recycling center and get that recycled. But as far as plastic, they're not taking plastic. So what are we going to do? And I'm going to tell you why we have to make a change, because plastic does not break down. When we
Yep.
send the plastic to the landfill in Campbellton, it's not breaking down. It just stays there.
Yep.
Um, so we need to figure out a way to do better. Now, one thing, and I'm going to try to do this too, is get more water from my refrigerator, because the filter is there, as opposed to me buying, cases of bottled water. And I do that just by
Well,
habit.
yeah,
But we
we're
shouldn't be doing
victims.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
victims
yeah,
of good marketing
yeah,
because
yeah.
why we buy bottled water anyway when you
Right, because we think it's
but,
better. We
yeah,
think it's better,
and
but
most of us have refrigerators that's got filters in them
that
anyway.
filters on it. Yeah. So
So
we you're right. We should do that. So I'm gonna make a habit as of today, is to try my best to get my water in a cup, a regular cup,
mm,
out of the refrigerator. Now,
mm,
one thing my daughter has done, and she was ahead of the game. She did this about, I don't know, 5 months ago. She had me to order her some steel straws. And I was like, why do you want to do that? To
mm.
save on plastic. I was like, oh, okay. So Amazon went on and ordered her some steel straws. So she drinks, out of her steel straw, washes it out, and reuse it.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Hey,
So
hey.
it works. And then we can also use biodegradable cups
Mm.
where you just rewash them that do break down.
That makes sense.
Use those. We got to make a change, because, like I said, the plastic is just sitting there at the landfill and is not breaking down. So another thing is, I've been told some of the Winn Dixies, I'm not sure about here, but they are asking for the plastic bags to be brought back because they're doing some recycling in that manner. So I have to check with the Winn Dixie here in Mariana, but I have heard that in other areas, some Winn Dixies are doing that. So that's a way as well. So there are some options. We just have to put forth the effort.
Yeah, hey, I'll champion. I'll get on my game too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
make a change. So Byron, one last thing for local and state news is our local, and I'm going to call it local because it's about 45 minutes away. The airport, the Northwest Florida Beach International Airport in Panama City, they have their first commercial business. They have a Hilton Garden Inn, the hotel. Now, some of you may be thinking they never had a hotel close before. No, we didn't. So this hotel is brand new. That's coming up, and it's called Hotel Garden Inn, and it's about a mile away from the airport. And in the lobby, it will have like a flight tracking system, and then of course a shuttle. So that's good for the travelers,
Yeah,
right, Byron?
yeah, exactly. That's yeah, because a lot of I had to take a lot of flights with military, and it's better. It's a lot easier to go out of Panama City than driving all the
Right,
way to Tallahassee and
right,
Dothan. But yeah,
right. That's true. All right. Well, our local and state news was brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Again, they're located in Mariana at 2867 Caledonia Street. You can call TD Horn at 850-633-3460 for all your property insurance, vehicle insurance, business insurance, and life insurance needs. All right. What do you have for national?
so, national news is brought to you by People's Funeral Home. Because we care, we are here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Service Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Mariana and Battle Mortuary. Panama City offers service that is within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Our services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or stop by for more information. People's Funeral Home. So I want to open up about the story with Megyn Kelly rips the quote unquote black national anthem. And I
Yeah.
call it quote unquote because it is not an official, it's not the black national anthem. One of my real good friends, Melanie Edwards, the living granddaughter of the composers and writers of Lift Every Voice and Sing. That's the name of the song. And when my first meeting with her, it was at a opening of a museum at Florida A&M University, and someone asked the question, what made them decide to name it the Black National Anthem? And she replied, they never did. That was just something somebody coined a phrase,
We all
and
thought
over
that.
time we kept people could start calling that. But it's the song,
Right.
and they had made attempts to make it a national hymn. So Megyn Kelly goes on this rant and remind you, she's not on Fox News anymore. She's got a show, and at the end of the day, people got to understand that folk got a job,
Right.
and in order for them to remain relevant, they've got to go out there and they've got to say outlandish things. But in the story, in the piece that was written, she goes on a rant about the NFL playing the national anthem. She kind of used basically saying that the NFL shouldn't be using political issues or social issues. It should be just about watching the game. She goes on to make a statement that I don't think people want politics in their sport. She goes on to say that the NFL doesn't seem to be learning quickly. I mean, quite as quickly, and that basically the average American doesn't want to hear the song, don't even like it. Um, and it goes back to my point about learning history and in its proper perspective and its proper narrative. To say that if you ever listen to the lyrics, and it's sad to say most young people don't even know the lyrics anymore, but it's gaining some more popularity. But lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the glistening skies. Let it march on till the victory is won. Now you
This one.
tell me where the words are divisive. That comes from somebody that does not know their history. And African American history is American history. The black people that wrote that song didn't write it in like I said, in Bangkok or Cambodia,
Right.
they did
Right.
it in America.
Right.
And if there's anything more unifying with this song is the lyrics of that song and the tune to it.
But you
But
know
when you're
what?
taught, and it almost make you feel, it almost make you think somebody that has learned as her, being a journalist, being in that field, you have to know what you're talking about. So to put it out there and to coin it as the Black national anthem, which it is not, and to put that narrative out there, it almost make you think that, okay, are you doing this on purpose or you just don't know what
But
you're
Byron, you
talking
know
about?
what? This goes back to the thought that athletes should not be using their platform for social justice. That's what
Exactly.
it goes back to. They don't want athletes to do anything. I'm saying they, some people do not want athletes to do anything but run a ball, catch the ball, kick a ball. Okay. They don't want them to think. They don't want them to have a cause or purpose. So that mentality came out when she made that statement
Yeah,
because that's exactly what she's saying.
and I can understand to a point when people say they don't want politics in sports, but we're not talking. At the same time, athletes are people too. I'm
Right.
not going to have a problem with you as a person. You're trying to fight for things that are right and what you believe in. I ain't got no problem with that. I definitely don't have any problem with any other person trying to fight for the rights of me being a black man in America. Now, if you ask me would I kneel during the national, no, I wouldn't, because I stand from something different. I'm a Marine. I'm a soldier. I never do that, but I definitely stand out there and fight for the rights and freedoms of other people. I've done it, put my life on the line a bunch of times.
Right.
But at the same time, when people get out there, understand that some people just ain't qualified. And Megan Kelly is not qualified to talk about history when she don't even know
Right.
history. Same point that don't let somebody else divide you with rhetoric, and that's what this is. That's what it's
Right.
always. When
Right.
these TV shows are not actual news, what we do is we give you facts and
News.
we talk informative. What
Right.
they do is they give you opinions and they
Right.
talk on certain topics, and
Correct.
that's the problem. And so if we focus on the kids, we focus on teaching them the proper history, the proper perspective, then you won't have to worry about somebody coming, because you won't have to worry about somebody black correcting her. You won't have to worry about somebody of color correcting her. Anybody would correct her and say no,
It's
we
not
don't,
true.
that's not true.
Right. Right.
And it has such a gravitating effect, like I said, on any child to know the contributions of every great American, but
But
especially of black Americans.
but Byron, again, I echo what you said, and I also see the mentality when people make statements like that. I'm telling you, they're thinking athletes. They put them in a box.
Yeah,
But it's no different than me or you using a platform, and we're looking at they have a greater platform, so why not,
because so many
use their
people,
platform
yeah,
exactly? They
so
have
many people
so
follow.
much influence from kids to adults in every industry,
Mm.
every race. So
Mm.
why not use their platform for social justice? So,
Well, here's the
but
thing:
that's what it goes
if
back
they talked
to.
about if you want them to talk about, you don't
Then
want
it's
them to talk about
okay.
issues. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Then
And
some people, yeah,
some
yeah,
people. So
some people, yeah.
So on to my next story. California overwhelmingly rejects the recall for to keep
Oh,
Governor Newsom as the governor. So I was a bit confused about it. It kind of caught me. I was like, well, what is all this about? The recall. So apparently, in the state of California, they have they've been doing this for I think it was since they implemented the recall. I want to say 176 times they've had recalls. Matter of fact, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, he became governor on the basis of a recall. So the way it's set up in California, a recall petition must be signed by enough registered voters, which has to equal at least 12% of the turnout of that previous election. So you're talking about, in California, which is a pretty big state, you're talking about over 1 million people.
right.
So when that many people sign that petition, the petition must include at least 1% of the last vote for office in at least 5 counties. So once they do that, that ballot is only going to have 2 questions on it. It's pretty much, do you think that the governor should remain in office, and if not, who? So now, if let's say, and the governor has to get at least 50% of those votes. So half of those votes the governor has to get. Now, if the governor doesn't get to have that 50%, then whoever else that puts their name on the ballot to run, whoever
Mm-hmm.
has the most votes, then they win. But they don't have to get 50% of the votes. That's the crazy thing about it. I think,
Really?
yeah, they only have to get like let's see, the ballots ask voters if the majority of voters say no. First question, the second question is moot. But if more than 50% votes yes, the challenger with the most votes becomes the next governor. So the challenger that has the most votes amongst the other candidates win. So a
Okay.
lot of people are saying like, "Hey, this is really not fair because if the governor gets 49.9% of the votes, and somebody else only got like say 10,000, then boom, they become governor." But either way, this recent election, Governor Newsom did get more than 50%. The main Republican front runner was Larry Elder. He's a radio talk show host, and he was gaining a lot of ground. But like the day before the election, before ballots were even casted, he was already putting out there that it was that it was being fraud and the election was being stolen away from him. So kind of taking the
Putting
page from
that
the
narrative, trying to create that
yeah,
narrative. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you
Was
had
that
that
this
going on.
week? That was this week, Byron?
Yes, yes, that was a couple of
Okay.
days ago.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
he's securing the spot. A lot of money was spent. A lot of money was spent on that election, which is going to cost the state as well. But that process is not nothing new. But it's only happened I think 3 times where the governor has
Okay.
been replaced
Okay.
through the
All right.
recall. Yeah.
Well, Byron,
So
while we're on politics, let's just jump back to Florida, State Bill 90. Okay, I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's
I
talk
did have
about that.
somebody call about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know the State Bill 90 was passed in July, correct? And
Yes.
okay, I'll let you break it down, and I'll tell you guys how it affects us here in Jackson County as
So
regards to our
so
supervisor election.
so without involving politics, bipartisan politics in it, but I'll give both sides on the view of the bill.
Okay.
Senate Bill 90 has got a lot in it. I'll highlight a few things that the bill has in it. One is a prohibition against governmental entities using private funds for election related expenses. They're putting risk assessments on the online voter registration system. They also require the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles to assist the Department of State with regularly identifying the changes in voter addresses and providing that information to the supervisor election. So I know, like even when we would look up voter rolls to try to send letters and things out to people, a lot of the information would be old and
Yeah.
outdated. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Other things in there they got in there prohibits mailing or otherwise prohibiting a ballot without a request. So that automatic, you just automatically getting a ballot, a mail-in ballot in the mail. That's not going to happen anymore. You would have to actually request for one.
Requested. Mm-hmm.
You've got things like adding Dropbox sites. So having just one location to the supervisor election and not just random places. Limits how, especially what requires names on canvassing board members to be published. So I like that one, because you don't know who's on the canvassing board,
Right.
and at least that information gets
It's
public so
public.
people will know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got some good things in there, but also on one side, people feel like that it's a tactic to as voter suppression to put out more hurdles and more loopholes where people would not vote and kind of deter as a deterrent of other groups of people to be able to vote because the idea is from one side the idea is that you want to have the voting process as easy and as
Mm-hmm.
open as anything so you can get the max participation.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other side wants to see it as having more strict eyes on things and making more avenues to make sure there's not fraud, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Okay.
but there are good things in it. There's some things in it that I don't really agree with, but most in part is some um, good accountability in it, and that's my
Right.
big word. That was my word in the
That's your word.
campaign, and
Yeah,
and I'm big on
accountability.
accountability. So I'm not gonna knock it for the most part, but Senate Bill 90, everybody should definitely take the time to look up this bill, as well as something else. I don't think it was in Senate Bill 90, but you now you have to have identification.
Well, that's what I was
So
going to talk about.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that here our supervisor of elections, Carol Donaway, has sent out 3,300 pieces of mail to registered voters asking you guys to update your records, whether that be with your license number or your state ID or the last four digits of your social security number. So if you received a letter this week, she started mailing them out this week, she told me, and it's not a it's not a scam. Look at the letter. If you have any questions, please call them and ask the questions that you need to ask. But they are trying to update all of the records so they can be in compliance with Senate Bill 90. So I'm going to give you that phone number. Let's see. So I make sure that you guys are.
Yeah, shouts out, big shouts out to my friend, my good friend Carol Dunaway. She's doing a great
Yeah,
job out
yeah,
there at the
she
supervisor
is.
election, and I know they're doing an event September 28th, at
Yep,
the Madison Street Park. Uh,
medicine.
yep, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
peanuts, boiled peanuts, and everything out there. So, people, when there's opportunities out there to get a chance to get out and get registered and get vote and to vote, please do so. Make sure you
And
get do the proper steps to make sure you have just getting your voter ID is great, and making sure you
mhm.
have some type of identification, driver's license, something
State
like that.
ID.
Yeah.
They're actually at those events, Byron. They're going to be updating records too. So you can
Okay.
go to those events and get them checked. But she said that they're really trying to get these 3,300 voter registration records updated. But if you have any
Sig-
questions, you can call them at 850-482-9652. That's 850-482-9652. And that's the supervisor of elections office. Again, make sure you take care of that business. So you don't want to get where you're trying to vote and there's a problem.
yeah,
Okay.
and signatures. Make sure your signatures updated as well. Okay, my
Correct.
last my
Correct.
last story is North and South Korea testing missiles, y'all. They was
Oh,
going.
there we go.
Yeah, they was doing a little quid pro quo, a little tit for tat, shooting missiles. The rival Korea tested, the rival Korea's tested launches ballistic missiles hours apart. So I think it was North Korea shot a couple of missiles first. They hit the destination like they were supposed to, and then boom, South Korea goes does the same thing, and it kind of got people up in the whoa, what's going on? But both sides are saying that no harm, no foul. Nobody's starting off a war today. But
They just playing around, right?
yeah. So they say. And South Korea always does this thing, especially when we get a new president. They always kind of test the waters and
Mm-hmm.
see just how bad, just how far they can go.
Yeah.
And for those that don't really follow and don't really know what the big hype is about North Korea, I had to try to explain it to my kids. You got to look at the globe. All right, so we're allies with Japan, but at the same time, you got to look at that globe and look where Hawaii is and look how close it is to the Japanese border and to North Korea. So when they test these missiles, they're real close to hitting, American territory. And then just look at Alaska as well. So when you look at these things, you will understand why our relationship with South Korea, as you were North Korea, and our ally relationship with South Korea is so big, and they always seem like they're always on the verge of about to be something go down. But yeah, so that was national news brought to you by People's Funeral Home because we care. We are here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Service Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Our services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. People's Funeral Home.
Okay. All right. We'll switch over to sports. Last night, Sneeds beat Cottondale in
What?
volleyball. They did.
Hey, shouts
Um,
out to Sneeze volleyball team. I mean, yeah, it's something historical what these young ladies have been doing.
yeah.
Uh, uh,
7 years straight,
yeah,
they
yeah. I
won the
mean,
state championship. Yeah.
they've done something more than any sport in the nation has done. So we gotta, we kind of gotta do something. We gotta
W-
get them some high flying uniforms and net bus services or something. Cause these ladies are
Well,
doing some outstanding things out there. You know what I'm saying? They need the VIP treatment, representing Jackson County the way they doing.
but but let me tell you this now. There's somebody on their heels here. Cottondale is not too far behind them right now. Cottondale
What?
is 10-3.
Tip of the
The
spear.
Lady Pirates are 7-4. 7-4.
Hey, what I say is, sometimes it's lonely at the top. So,
Yeah,
and at the same time, they started something. So now that they
yeah,
start something, it's like, hey, everybody else that's gonna play, they're gonna play you like it's the championship every game. So,
right.
the Lady Pirates gotta, they gotta stay in the game.
They got to say,
Um,
and Coach
yeah.
Heather Edge, there, she was the inherited the team.
Mm,
So she's doing a great job, and she's had, I think this is her third year after Sheila Roberts left and went over
okay.
to Florida High.
Okay.
But Heather Hedge, she's doing a great team, but a great job with the team. But they're kind of, they're, like I said, they're 7-4 right now, and now Cottonelle is 10-3. So otherwise, Mariana, they won their game last night, both JV and varsity. They did beat Vernon in Vernon.
Sweet.
So both JV and varsity, they're 5-4. So I'm gonna say we, because my daughter plays, so we're
Oh,
coming
oh,
along.
you better claim
That's right. We're coming along. And so that's it for volleyball. But you know what, Grace, from my understanding, somebody out there, correct me if I'm wrong, there's only 3 volleyball teams in Jackson County: Grand Ridge, Sneeze, and Marietta. I know
them.
we only have 4 high schools, but so that leaves Graceville out. Does anybody know why Graceville do not have a volleyball team? If
Huh.
you do, let me know. And how do they do that gender equity thing? Because you're supposed to have a balance. So you have softball, you have baseball, they have
Mhm.
football. So in the regular schools, we have volleyball to counter that for gender
So
equity. I mean equity. So
does
I don't know
does
how,
Malone have
if
a
anybody
does,
else knows that, let me know.
yeah, I wonder, does Malone have a volleyball
Malone
team?
don't have a volleyball team.
Hmm.
No, no, but they don't have a football team. They just have basketball. So they're balanced. They have
Yeah, but
girls
no, they got
and boys
softball.
basketball,
Yeah.
and they have
Speak.
softball and baseball.
Speaking of, a shameless plug to my cousin and my old campaign manager, Nicki Williams is the new head coach for the female
Right,
softball team, and they're trying to raise money because the field is in poor condition. So if you and I'll make sure I drop that post and that video. So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll get the info on how you can help support the team, and so they can get the funds they need to get that field up to speed for this upcoming season. Yeah, but
great.
good shouts out
Okay,
to Malone. Yeah.
but Byron, that's a good question. How does Graceville balance that out? Because you're
Yeah.
supposed to have gender. Um,
Well, I know. I think it's title. I want to say it's Title 9. And I've been equal opportunity officer as well. So we have to make sure in these schools and in these extracurricular activities that we make sure we maintain that balance. Because what you
okay,
do for one, you got to do for all. And if
right,
you can't maintain for both, then you've got to somehow figure out a way to even it out. I
right,
know it seems like and me being a father of 3 girls.
right.
Now that I'm engaged, it always seems, even in the NBA, even in professional sports, it's like
Oh, it's
females get the lower,
the low end of the
and,
stick. I'm
and
gonna
and
tell
they're
you.
always required to do everything on their own. But the guys and the boys get
Right,
everything, even if they don't win. Even if the boys don't win,
right,
we don't go to state, don't do none of that.
right.
The girls still don't get what they
The
should.
same. They
You
don't.
know.
And you know
And
what, Byron? I'm gonna plug this here. But let me say this first. Chipola don't have a volleyball team, and I'm gonna say this. Sneeds has been to the state championship
yeah.
7 times. We have great talent in Jackson
Hey,
County.
even if
I've
they
al-
just add their roster with the sneeze girls, they'll
exactly.
be hey.
I've always wondered why Chipola don't have a volleyball team, but the question has been answered. It's the same thing, the gender equality
Mm,
rule,
mm,
because Chipola has softball and baseball, but they don't have football. You see what I'm
mm.
saying? So that's from what I'm told, that's the reason.
Mm.
I'm going to do a little bit more digging. I wish I can talk to Dr. Clemens about it, which maybe I can, but I think Jackson County should really have a college volleyball team here.
Yeah,
There's
they
so
should.
much talent, and these girls, they leave and go to Pensacola State. All these
Yeah,
other JCs, they have to leave home when they should be
yeah,
going right here in the backyard in
yeah.
Chipola.
They
Okay,
taking their
with that
talent
said,
somewhere else. Yeah.
exactly. With
Mm.
that said, back to your point about I'm gonna tell you the difference. Y'all listen to this. Sue Bird versus LeBron James. Sue
Mm.
Bird has been in the seat and has been in the league, the WNBA, for 17 seasons. LeBron James has been in the league for 17 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sue Bird has 4 WNBA championships. LeBron has 4 NBA championships. You know what Sue Bird's salary was for 2020? $215,000. That's her
Hey,
salary for 2020. LeBron's salary, $37.4 million for 2020.
and I want to
Wait,
say
wait, wait.
something.
One more thing. The
Go
bonus.
ahead.
They got a bonus. The bonus that Sue Bird got for winning the NBA championship, the finals in 2020, $11,356. You know
So
what
so
LeBron got? He got $370,000 for winning the 2020 finals. There we go.
So, so I want to say before somebody get out there and say, "Well, it's boring." No, 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 it's not.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not.
These owners, these leagues, they put way more money into advertising and
Right,
marketing
right.
these sports, the male sports, to the point where you don't even know how much effort and how much work they put in. It is actual neurological science that goes into businesses and marketing and promoting to you.
Right.
For instance, restaurants, color red. The brain associates food with colors
Right.
and pictures. So every restaurant, every top chain has the color red in it. Seating, they'll have McDonald's will have their seats degrees forward so that you will eat, get up, and get on out. Whereas a Starbucks will have their environment a lot different so that you'll stay and you'll buy more coffee and you'll buy
Right.
more espresso.
The
So in the same
ambiance.
sense, men, you will see every advertisement for a man, whether it's a sports drink, whether it's a drug, whether it's food, whether it's beer, it's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be on those sports networks because they're marketing to you. If you want to market to people to draw them to watch that particular sport, they can do it a lot just as well as they're doing it for female sport. I'll say this. I know everybody done had it. You hear this sorry song on the radio, and you don't understand how it's even on there, but it keep playing over and over and over again. Next thing you know, you get out the car to pump some gas, and you see somebody driving down, and they blasting it like it's the best thing smoking. Then you find yourself singing it, and you say, how am I singing this sorry song? Good marketing. They just kept playing it. So
Right.
yeah, it just got to put more effort into it, and I guarantee you, once one team or one marketing organization, a company starts doing it and it starts gaining success and it starts making dollars for these arenas, watch, it'll catch wind and it'll pick up fire. People know this, so it's time for us
So
to
Byron,
stop.
that
It's time for us to stop, cutting out women and start, really putting in work. Cause I mean, if you watch any of these sports, you'll get all into it. Last night I was all into the girls Malone's middle school game, and man, my voice is still hoarse from yelling and screaming. So it's very entertaining, y'all.
I mean,
You
the
gotta get,
talent is, you can't deny the talent. I
yeah.
mean, you can't, I don't know, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so let's get to our local football games. That's tonight. It's Graceville homecoming. They play North Bay Haven. And so like I said, it's their homecoming. Cottondale is at Bozeman. And Bluntstown is at Freeport. Sneeze is at Home County. And Marietta is home against Rutherford. So those
Mm.
are the games for tonight. All games kick off at 7 p.m. Now, last week, Marietta, let's see, what did they win last week? They played,
Yep.
yeah, they won last week. Okay. So they're 1-2. Graceville is 0-2, unfortunately. Cottondale is 0-2. Bluntstown is 3-0. They're undefeated.
Wow.
Sneeze is 2-0. And then Mariana, like I said, is 1-2. So they need a win tonight. All right, I'm gonna switch over to college football. We do have Florida State playing. Florida State is 0-2, as everybody knows.
Yeah, man.
Now the question is, they lost to Jacksonville State last week. So, of course, people started talking, are you going to do the same thing to Mike Norvell that you did to Willie Taggart? Not giving him a break. So that remains to be seen. We will see. But they play tomorrow. They play, let's see. They are at, let's see. Oh, they're at Wake Forest. Mm-hmm. They play Wake Forest tomorrow. That game is at 2:30 on ESPN. So you got Michigan State at Miami. That's at 11 a.m. You can see it on ABC. Then you got Alabama and Florida. They're at Florida, so they're in Gainesville. That's at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. Georgia Tech is at Clemson. That's at 2:30 on ABC. South Carolina is at Georgia. That's at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Auburn is at Penn State. That's at 6:30 on ABC. And then FAMU is at South Florida, and that's at 6 p.m. And that's on ESPN Plus. Okay, so those are your games for tomorrow. Again, you can have a full day of watching college football. What you got?
Entertainment. So we're gonna open up talking about Nicki Minaj, right? So Nicki Minaj, she makes this couple of tweets, and one of them was talking about how her cousin got some incompetent issues from the result of a COVID-19 vaccine. And it's been doctors after doctors coming out and debunking what she's saying. Now, it gets back to the point that I made about Megyn Kelly. And maybe I need to make this a T-shirt design or something, but you're not qualified. Right. If you're not qualified, don't talk about something. Now I get everybody has an opinion, but as a person that is in the public eye, that you have 20-something million viewers and followers and et cetera, people that love you, adore you, when you say something, they're gonna believe it as gospel, believe it or not. And I've been in situations where I just knew, working in the prison system, I just knew that somebody wasn't nothing wrong with them or somebody, and then next thing you know, it was legit. Even for my own self, I've just known that I had strep throat, and I got getting mad at the doctor, and then I realized, and what he said would happen, happened. And I realized, you know what, I'm not qualified. You can't get out there and make these comments and think that, for me, I didn't even think celebrities actually really post on their social media accounts. I always thought they had somebody do it for them.
Like a ghostwriter?
Like a ghostwriter, yeah. You got to have more time on your hands than this. But anyway, she goes and she did try to end the tweet with just telling people to make sure they put on masks. But if you don't get the vaccine, fine. But if you're not a doctor, if you're not
don't talk about it. Yeah, don't talk about it.
Talking about stuff you're not qualified for.
Because that's how people get misled. That's how people get misinformed.
Yeah, it's happening all the time.
So you just gotta weigh. You gotta consider the source. I'll just put it that way. Whenever you're trying to make decisions and you're getting information, consider the source. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, Byron.
Yeah. So we got some more bad news. Norm Macdonald dies. Influential comedian. I knew him from Saturday Night Live, the movie Half Baked, and he was voice on a lot of animated shows and films. And it's sad he was fighting with this. A lot of people didn't know he was battling cancer for like 9 years. Died at 61. His death was announced by his management firm Brillstein Entertainment. The comedian's longtime producing partner and friend Lori Jo Hoekstra, who was with him when he died, said McDonald had been battling cancer for nearly a decade, but was determined to keep his health struggles private, away from family, friends, and fans. So that just comes to let you know, even with Chadwick Boseman's death, some people, still want to keep their business to themselves. So, a lot of folks on social media respect and try to practice a little of that yourself, because I know right. I see a little too much of people just putting too much of their business out there.
That's your right, though. I mean, especially when it comes to your health. I mean, I did it. Everybody knows. I kept my health situation private till I was done with it, till it was over. And so, but it's a personal decision. And sometimes when you're walking through something like that, you want to keep your circle very small, because it is a fight, and you don't want outside forces influencing your mind in a negative way. So I understand. Yeah. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lastly, Rihanna is pregnant, y'all. Rihanna,
Really? Oh
she didn't
wow.
they say they didn't got to her. Rihanna is
Okay.
pregnant. Yeah. So
How old is she, Byron?
I don't know how old Rihanna
Let
is.
me look it
She's
up. Let me see.
yeah,
Let me
I'm
see.
gonna guess 25 maybe.
She's
But
not 30. Let me
no,
look
no,
it up. Okay,
she ain't
go
got
ahead.
that far. But anyway, she unveils the baby
Okay.
bump in Dazed magazine maternity photos. And she revealed the baby bump. Reports say that she unveils her baby bump in Dazed magazine maternity's photo shoot. So her boyfriend, ASAP Rocky, if anybody hip hop followers out there, it said I didn't follow the Met Gala, but it was said that he was planning to propose to her at the gala. And so they're hyped up, super excited about the new arrival that's on the way, and that's cool. I know it's a lot of some broke hearts out there, but yep. Rihanna is pregnant, and kudos to her and ASAP
Well,
Rocky.
Byron, let me tell you, you said she was in her 20s. No,
No,
she's
no.
33.
Oh
Yes.
man, she
Yes.
got me. I would have
Yes.
thought 25,
She's
26.
no, she's 33. I just looked it up. So there you
But
go.
but you know what? Her first single, yeah, that was a while back. That first single
Yeah.
that she got
So
out.
she's not as young as you thought. No, she's
Man,
not.
what? Yeah, she got to tighten up. Then she need about two or three more. Yeah.
All right, Byron. Is it time for our relationship tea?
Relationship
Okay,
tea.
relationship tea. Our discussion today will be regarding friends.
Friends.
Um, it's almost like a middle school topic. It's like if I'm friends with someone and that person gets mad at someone else, do I get mad at the person? Can I be friends with them? Because adults play the same game. What you got, Byron?
Yeah, so I've been, in situations like that. I will say this: there's only one person I'll be petty with, and that's my wife. If she don't like somebody, I don't like them neither. I don't care what it is. It could be the colors. I don't like you either. But but with my friends, I always try to be that voice of reason. So if it's somebody that they got an issue with, not if it goes to the point of somebody doing me harm or doing my friend harm, no.
Right,
If you
right,
rob me and then my
right,
friend over there kick in with you, now that's
right,
no go.
right,
But when it
right,
comes to a lot of times somebody will have an issue, or it may be envious, it may be they just think that they don't like them,
hmm
and the other friends
Nothing
don't.
valid. Nothing
Yeah,
valid.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is it's even in school that's not smart. So I try to talk to my kids about that. But as grown folk, life is almost like high school
Yeah.
because they keep on with the same
Pattern.
childlike patterns and mentalities, and you find yourself standing like, now why we don't like buddy?
You don't
Oh
know.
man, why don't you? The guy ain't done nothing to you. Why don't you? You might
Right.
have more in common with this guy than anything. And a
Right.
lot of times with men, I know it'll be something involved with a woman.
Yeah.
Either
Oh,
you
there we
like the
go.
same woman or something. And I say, hey, well, y'all got one thing in common. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. You know
But
what, Byron? Though, for women, I some for some reason it seems to be more apparent
mm,
um in grown women. Like
mm,
if you're friends with somebody and that person has had an issue with somebody, and some a lot of times not even a valid issue. It's just a personality conflict, and that's fine. We're
mm,
not gonna all be fans of each other, and that's okay.
mm.
But long as I didn't do anything to you, why your friend can't like me?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
why I can't like your friend if she didn't do anything to me. Or at least I can, hey, how you doing to speak. Now, what the line is crossed, this is the line. If some harm was brought
Yeah.
to your friend or family member, then and it's not like you just, you still love everybody. We got to preach love because you love everybody, but you may not like their ways. So you don't like the person, what the person did. And you may be, they may be in the outer courts, and that's fine. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Talk to you later. That type thing.
Mm,
So you don't have to bring everybody in your inner court, but you'd still be nice and kind to people, especially those that have not done anything to you.
yeah. I mean, and it makes perfect sense. Like I said, I've been in situations where you'd ask the question, and then you sitting there looking like, why don't dude? Let's drop all that. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. It don't make
But
sense.
yeah, when harm comes the way, I'm
That's
not riding
different.
with you. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
but now
different. That
I've got friends that'll say, hey man, even when you're wrong, I'm with you. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I get it. I think it boils down to different personalities have a level of loyalty
Right.
than others. So I'm that type of person. You know,
Yeah.
if I ride with you,
Right.
hey, I'm gonna ride with you to the end. I'm one of them people you can, if you're in trouble, you can call me. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and
I'm
if you
loyal
need
too.
something, you know,
Yeah.
I'm right there for you. So
Yeah.
and I've learned that, you know, my daddy had a saying, you know, they friend, they not your friend. So you have to figure that out too, because you might put in 80 or 100 and they might put in 20.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you got to know what you're dealing with before you
Right.
jump yourself out there and
Right.
you know, miss out on a good relationship,
Right.
you
But
know.
we shouldn't be playing these middle school games where,
No, no.
especially if that person did something to your friend. Not I
Yeah,
should no, no, no. If that person don't like your friend and your friends, well, you know what? I don't know, but I don't say anything to him. Well, that
yeah,
doesn't mean you don't have to say anything. You can speak because he didn't do
yeah,
anything to you, or he don't like you,
yeah.
or she don't like you.
And stop going behind what somebody say, you know.
Right,
How
right.
many
And
times you
confront people.
yeah,
Confront people. If there's a
yeah,
question, that you have this, that they say this, or you know, um, do you think they, know this? Ask people. I tell. I'm
yeah,
these days. I'm telling people, call and ask them. They
yep,
ask me, so do you know if? No, I don't. Call and ask them.
yep.
If there's something that you're wondering about, and as opposed to harboring something in, pick up the phone and call them, ask them. Hey, you
Yeah,
know what? I don't want to just ask you something, just woman to woman or man to
yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's a main point.
Conversations.
Yeah,
Conversations.
that's a main point for me.
Yeah.
Just talk to me. You know what I mean?
Just talk. Communication.
And 9 times out of 10, or probably 10 times, especially with me, you will find out you be like, oh, I didn't know that dude. Pretty cool.
Yeah, a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said, and it was said this way, and oh, I
Yep.
misunderstood.
Yep.
Instead of just walking around mad,
Yep.
and a lot of times the person don't even know you're mad at him.
Nope. I have no clue. And
Yeah,
it's called the Batari model. You know, when if you do something negative to somebody else, then they're gonna do something negative back, and all it
yeah,
ends up doing is being a big ball that continues to roll. Because now I'm gonna go even harder, then you're
yeah,
gonna go even harder.
yeah.
So the only way you stop that ball from rolling is somebody's got to stop and say, flip it. You know, say
Yes,
something nice, or get some clarity, and then
yes.
that decompresses the whole hate and the envy. You know,
Right, right.
bottom line. Bottom
Bottom
line,
line, that's the
get to
bottom
know.
line. So you
Yeah.
can make your own judgment. Don't let someone make it for you.
There you
Okay.
go.
Bottom
There you
line.
go.
All right, Byron, I think we're up against the clock. So it's time for us to wrap up. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in to Bottom Line with Ron and Byron. We hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, you know what? I got to do one more. Oh, man, I got to do one more sponsorship.
Go ahead.
This is not a sponsorship, but an ad. The ad was brought to you by To Go Eats. To Go Eats is a restaurant delivery service here in Mariana and Chipley. They deliver to your front door by your favorite restaurant. So you can call To Go Eats at 334-352-3522. They are locally owned. Again, they do restaurant delivery and they do Walmart grocery pickup. So call To Go Eats at 334-352-3522. All right, get that in. To Go Eats. And
Yeah,
also
gotta
remember,
get it.
if you use them, remember to tip the driver. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna close it out and wrap it up. And remember this: if you know the truth, you can speak the truth, and the light shines brighter when it shines for two. Have a good evening.
Peace.